Sergeant of the Texas Air National Guard. Please welcome R.W. Bray.
There was a time I could mention the names of William Lord Garrison or Frederick Douglass, and people would know exactly who I'm talking about. But that was 170 years ago. And along with our hats and our coats, we've hung up our values and our morals. Same morals that have made America great. I can't help but believe that maybe there's some return to that. But those names are all but been erased in the chronicles of history. There will be a time when I could whisper the names of Stowe or Madam C.J. Walker, and someone might dare to remember them. But that was less than 100 years ago. And those names are about as foreign to us as Plato's cave. I could possibly remember or say a name like Rosa Parks, maybe Senator Everett Dirksen, and someone might remember his name. But it's been an average of 20 years has passed since these souls have walked the earth, and we still have yet to replace them. We ought to be convicted that we've allowed the narrative of republicanism to be rewritten. Like possums, we've rolled over and we've played dead, hoping and begging that the dangers of liberalism will pass us by. Like laughing hyenas, we've ran away from the responsibility of communities that have been drenched in poverty and inequality, all because we've been too afraid to be courageous. But I'm here to remind you of who we are. We're the sons and daughters of abolitionists. Men and women who gave their lives to fight against slavery. But make no mistake about it, slavery has returned. And she is more vicious than ever before, because this time she is colorblind. 31% of white Americans are welfare recipients. 33% of black Americans have fallen for the same rules, and 28% of the Latino community has believed the lie that the government can take care of you from the cradle to the grave. All the while losing their humanity. So when Trump talks about the lies that the Democrat Party has told and the failed policies, both in economics, education, and crime, your heart should be stirred with passion and strength to do something about it. We pranced around in our arrogance. We have pranced around in our arrogance, believing that just maybe something will happen without us doing anything. Just not the case. With the growing population of Hispanics and the decline of the black populace, Jim Crow laws like the Clintons' war on drugs, has incarcerated millions of black men. Has left millions of women without husbands. Millions of children fatherless. The reason why 1.5 million black men are not in our communities is because of the war on drugs. That's the Democrats' full-out assault against the black man. It is their emasculation of everything that the culture of black stand for. They have been emasculated, an entire culture. What will we do about it? So let me tell you this. If you come to this rally thinking that it's a revival, this is not a revival. This is a place where you get armed up to fight. So when Trump starts talking about going into the inner city communities and changing the rhetoric, when he talks about going into the inner city communities and offering a hand up instead of a hand out, I can't help but listen and know that it's the truth. So then we must engage. We must engage in the areas of education by offering charter schools and academies to teach our children. We must engage. We must engage in the area of economics by empowering entrepreneurs, not to be job seekers, but job creators. We must engage. We must engage in the areas of crime to make sure that we are not pulling men from homes. We must engage. 94% of black Americans vote Democrat. And have so for half a century and to no avail. If you believe that they are sleeping, you are sadly mistaken. There will be no greater time than now for us to go into these communities and teach them freedom and economic independence. So now you stand at the precipice of change, and times like these are monumental. We must not allow our people to fail. We must not allow the return of slavery. We must prove President Johnson wrong. He thought that the black community would sell their birthright for a bowl of soup. For 200 years, he was sadly mistaken. So let's send a message from Texas to all of America that this is the part of Abraham Lincoln and we will not be divided. Trump, 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 Trump. God bless Texas. God bless America. And God bless you all. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's give it up again for R.W. Bray. What we need to do if we're going to make America great again is for every single one of us to do whatever it takes that we can do to make it great for us. It comes to every one of you to help your neighbor and your community to get to be where they want to be. We are the party of Lincoln. We're the party of Reagan. We are the ones who believe in life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness. I want to bring up another friend of mine who's got just a wonderful story, and I think he's got some great examples that you're going to want to hear about very soon. First off, he was recently announced as a member of the National Hispanic Advisory Board for the Trump campaign. Pretty cool. We had a whole lot of Hispanic leaders from all across the country and several from Texas who were able to go up there and had a really great time to talk a little bit about items to discuss in that community. So Rick Figueroa grew up hard, the youngest in 8, in government housing. He was not raised as a Republican, but he worked his way up from a day laboring ranch hand to eventually manage and own his own ranch. And that's right. And I'm not going to steal his line, but he's going to tell you what that's all about when he gets up here. But he embraced the party that he found that shared his values, and his guiding principles have helped him to achieve his dreams in this country that I know we all love.